Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Denny, we're only 8 races into the season, and the story on you has already changed, I think, 4 times. You were the preseason favorite. You were in early season slump. Then your championship hopes were dashed because you had surgery. And now you've won 2 races quicker than you have in any previous year in the Cup Series. Which is the story that's going to carry through the rest of the year?
I don't know. Y'all just have to come up with something. But, you know, it really does feel good. You know, it's tough because you do have big expectations at the start of the season. And I told everyone on media day and everything like that, if we don't set the world on fire for the first 6 months, it's okay. Things are okay. You know, we're going to ease into our season and try to learn and try to work on some stuff for later in the year. And obviously with no test sessions, we've got to kind of test during race weekend. So we're experimenting with different stuff, and some stuff is working, some stuff isn't. But, you know, we've never hit the panic button, that's for sure. We've never been down on ourselves because we haven't, you know, gotten to the expectations of a lot of people put on us at the beginning of the year, and I put on myself. But my expectations and where I thought I could be at the end of this year still can happen, but it's months and months down the road. I told everyone, you got to stop looking at the short term. You know, we still look at us 15, 20 races in, then kind of get a judgment of where we're at and what we're going to be.
And Stats has confirmed for me that you picked up 7 spots and are currently in 11th place in the standings. We'll go upstairs, back to the press box.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Why were you in such disbelief? I mean, what part of the whole equation? Yes, we know about the knee and everything else, but was there something just specifically about the end of that race that just kind of blew your mind that you were where you were? Because it almost seemed like somebody had to pinch you to make you believe what was going on.
I'm just not good at shootouts. You know, I'm not good at those last few laps. Anytime we have a green-white checkered or we have those kind of finishes, I'm usually on the bad end of it. Either I get in a wreck or I lose a few spots. And so for us to pull out a win like that, it's very gratifying from my standpoint, because you know, you sit there and you had a red flag situation where you could sit there and digest things and think about, what do I have to do for the first 2 laps to win this race? Because the race was going to get won in the first 2 laps. Whoever got cleared was going to go. As long as there was no other caution, that was going to be your winner. You know, I think the 48 got bottled up the first couple laps, which was good. But, you know, we didn't have that. He did close in at the end, and a lot of that was because I really backed off the tempo with about 5 to go, just to make sure I hit my marks and didn't make mistakes and things like that. So the finish was probably closer than what it should have been. But, you know, for me, it's gratifying that I kind of put a strategy together in my head and executed it, because usually I don't do that very well.
We've got a couple more questions, but before we continue, any further questions for Mike Ford? Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Just a quick question, Mike. 8 races in, and it's already been a roller coaster of a year for this team, but could you just talk about the performance of Denny in the last couple of weeks?
You know, it has been a roller coaster, but I think, you know, 90% of people out here, if you study their season, it's the same situation. It's up and down, and at times it's frustrating. You know, we somewhat got on a high at Martinsville, and we know, you know, the first few races we definitely struggled. We were off on performance. Went to work. Atlanta, we had a good car, cut a tire down. Bristol, I think we were going to have a good run, cut a tire down. So you didn't get to see the performance for a couple of weeks. Then we go to Martinsville knowing that Denny's going to have surgery the following Monday. We win that race, so then you get a little bit of a high, and then you get kicked right back down knowing that Phoenix is going to be very difficult. So, you know, Denny touched on it. It's very hard to keep morale up. It can be frustrating, but, you know, he stuck with us through Phoenix. We had some issues. You know, but I think you see the strength of the team 2 out of the last 3 weeks. You know, we ran his second win on an intermediate. You know, so I think we've got a lot of things working strongly for us. And like Denny mentioned, you're not going to see the full strength of this team until later in the season. You know, we are trying some things that are going to show inconsistency week to week. And, you know, without testing, you have to do that to a point if you want to progress faster than the other guys. and we're benchmarking the Hendrick guys, and we want to beat them at the end of this season. You know, they may beat us, you know, majority of the weeks up front here, but you know, we'll take that. We want to beat them on the backside, so we're going to work extra hard, and you're going to see some inconsistencies. So inside, you know, we're just, you know, not content with it, but we're willing to give up a little bit here and there to gain down the road.
Okay, Mike, we got one more question before I let you get out to inspection. Go ahead, Lee.
Sorry, I just got the mic. Mike, can you tell us why on the stop it? Why why you said on the radio after the race, don't kill the car, we still need it. What are your plans for this car?
That wasn't me. Everybody was trying to tell me to tell him to not do it, and I wouldn't do it. So, you know, some of the other guys got on the radio because, you know, the fact is, every race that we've had this year, whether we win or whatever, we've had to go back and work on. And you know, the part of the equation is if you want better stuff down the road, don't tear your stuff up today, because that sucks up time in the fab shop. So we want some better stuff coming forward here, and if we're repairing stuff that we can avoid, then it's gonna hamper that. So that was that statement.